You may have to just move it back like 30 minutes to 1. I forgot that I have a 8 p.m. interview at my office, but yeah. I mean, like,
No, it's
yo, alright, don't worry about it. I'm gonna call you because I'm about to go to the trainer. Let me call you 2 by 2. And this one,
all right.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna see. We're gonna see.
Oh, yeah, she is just on eight. But I watch eight.
Okay.
Oh, that's kind of a steal.
It's all good. Me too.
All right, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, excited for today's training. Got some great stuff prepared. I have been getting a lot of questions, and through monitoring my team, especially my base shop weekly activity, wanted to make some adjustments on. And I appreciate, like, especially this week, I had a really good week of people leaving me a lot of messages, especially on Telegram, from appointments after they go on appointments. You guys know my daughter is, pretty good at swimming. She got the 5th best time in the entire region at her level, and tomorrow is her all-star meet, which they bring the top 18 kids in every category to a meet. It's crazy, I don't know if it'd be televised, but it's a big deal, right? And so it's funny because she's had some success. She got, and we only did half the season. At the end of the year banquet, she got the top point, for her category. For, like, if you get first place, you get 6 points. Second place, 4 points. 3, 2, 1, 1. So at her category, she was the top point getter. So she was number 1. She got a little trophy. It's funny, like, I haven't told her anything, but she's got her desk. She has her trophy. She has her ribbons. Now she has this whole setup. She has her medal that she gets, all this stuff. And because that's what motivates her. So I told her, hey, look, they're going to be doing medals. They have a podium. So if you can get into the top 3, you'll get there. But these are, you got the 5th best time. So you got to work. As excited as she is, as enthusiastic as she is, as good and as talented as she is, right? Because I don't know if it's skill or hard work yet, because it's just a couple weeks she's been doing it. Every single day for practice, I have to fight her to go to practice. Every single day. It's like, yo, every day, it's like, dude, I'm the bad guy, right? It's just like, and, you know, a lot of sports, it's not even that it's exhausting for the kids, it's exhausting for the parents. Driving around, picking them up, going there, watching in the sun, you know, seeing them swim laps. It's not exciting, right? It's not basketball like you see a move like, damn, you got him. It's swimming. You know? That's it. That's all it is. It's freaking swimming. You know, it's not diving. There's nothing beautiful about it. It's swimming. It's like I ran track. It's like there's nothing fun about running track. You're just running. That's all you're doing, right? Think about that for you, though, right? Who is like, she has her dad pulling her to practice every single day. Who's pulling you? Who's pulling you to work every single day? I'm like, look, you just got a couple. This is your last meet of the season. You're done. This is it. You got invited. This is the big boys. This is the big girls. This is the all-star meet. Only 2 people qualified. She doesn't want to go to practice. Who's pulling you? Think about that. This isn't glitz and glamour. This isn't the fast star school. Who's pulling you every day to make calls, to prospect, to pop by? No one's going to pull you. Right now, it's cool to if you have a partner, if you have a foxhole buddy, if you got a team of people, you got to pull yourself. If you're not going to get the championship. You're not going to get to financial independence. So, anyways, and I guess the whole point is, you know, now they have all-star practice, which is a little different. It's obviously a lot smaller. There's only two kids in the practice, and the coach is they swim one lap, and the coach watches them. They go across. They give them feedback. They swim the other lap. Nope, you're doing it again. And I mean, I'm talking like, you know, I don't know if anybody's ever swam in like a normal pool, but not playing around waiting, but actually swimming the length of the pool. That shit sucks, man. I mean, it's tiring. Like you swim up and back. They warm up swimming 8 times. I'm just like, damn, dude. Like, whew. I mean, but you can tell my daughter's getting her lungs. She's getting a lot better. But think about that. Every lap, coach, and this is a college swimmer, scholarship swimmer, is giving feedback every lap. No, watching them. No, you did this. You did this. Let me see it back. What, you know, on the way back. That's what your KTs are. Every time you call, every time, right? Obviously, it's not different. This is a little different, right? I'm not going to be watching you go through the pool and swim, but you say, hey, this is what happened. This is why I didn't get the check. This is, you know, this is how I got the referral. Everything, it's a memory dump. You know, you guys not using your resources, mainly your RVPs and your trainers. You know, as good. It's just like my daughter, right? Like, you know, she's got a college coach watching her. Slim's in college, full scholarship. You know, and as good as that coach is, she's a college swimmer. But we don't know if she's a coach, right? But she can help her with her technique. I'm a coach, literally. Like I coach people to run businesses that should not have any business doing well in financial services and in this area. And I've coached many people, right? Directly, indirectly. Some I've had a lot to do, some I have a little to do, but all some sort of impact on people where we have example after example, people running 10, 15, 20 sales a month, right? 10, 15, 20 people showing up, right? People building brokerages of 15, 20 agents, getting clients of 100,000, 200,000, 500,000, a million, right? Over and over. And you have all the examples, right? So you got to use your resources, right? For us, for what in my base, what I, look, Tia talked about it, right? Like you gotta talk to your upline every day, man. You gotta at least check in every day, every single day. You gotta check. Especially when you're not doing well, you gotta check in, right? Just build such a great muscle, and it's like investing in your retirement. So, anyways, the questions that we've been getting a lot are what? What are they? You left me a message about this week. Huh? Yeah. What did we talk about at the beginning of the week, Jen? What did I leave you a message about after the weekend? Just happened. Appointments, actually doing the appointments. Okay? Actually going on the appointments, right? See, because setting appointments and doing appointments are two totally different things. Okay? See, great things happen when we actually get in front of people, but setting appointments is cool. It's part of the activity, but there's a big difference between setting the appointments and doing the appointments. And we all can agree, if we can get in front of enough people, and I'm not talking about a crazy amount, 100 people, we know 5 to 10 new people a week, we're going to get results. So I was going, because I got a lot of questions about this from a lot of people, and I was checking in with a bunch of people, and I know specifically Kelvin had a question about this, Shug had a question about this, and Jen and I talked at length about this, but I was talking to almost everybody about their appointments and, hey, Lola, how many appointments do you have? And then, on Saturday, you would set 2 or 3 for the weekend, and then you're setting one Saturday, and then if you set one Saturday for Saturday, then it reschedules, right? I set one Saturday for Sunday, then it reschedules, right? And obviously that is going to happen, but we want to try to minimize that because you got my clicker. All right. So, and thanks, Tom, for making this literally in 1 second. I just sent this. But I did make some notes because this is the most important thing that you could ever learn. Okay. If you want to make money, right? And why is money so important, right? I mean, this isn't Amway. This isn't Mary Kay. This isn't some place where I'm going to make money 20 years from now. The most sensitive nerve in any salesperson's brain is the nerve connecting the brain to the wallet. You got to make money. Okay, you have to make money. If you're not making money, everything gets funny. Okay, you don't have money and you're broke and you feel broke and you look at your clients as dollar signs. Doesn't mean you have to make $1 million tomorrow, but you have to make money. That is what we're talking about here on Friday. Income, cash flow, team cash. Right? Do not reply email because you got paid the night before. Who knows what the do not reply email is, right? That's the life advance email, right? You got paid from life, right? So if you want to make money, recruit more agents, referrals, attendance. The number one skill is setting appointments. And the number one skill is setting appointments. Who said that? Mike Sharp. Mike Sharp said that. Work in this business, doing appointments, setting appointments, and the number one skill, setting appointments. Number one. So you can't afford to be an 8 or a 9. You got to be a 10 out of 10 on setting appointments. You got to know the scripts. I need to think about it, all that stuff. And so I'm going to go through this because, this is going to be a little bit, it's not going to be a long training, but we need this. And Shondell, maybe you can help me because I know you're really good with system stuff. But, what I got a lot from people is, people setting appointments, they're allowing their recruits to set appointments, and we're at home. After setting the appointment, getting all excited, getting your, shaving, filling up your car with gas, and then you're at home, or you're going on a bogus appointment. That's not what we want, right? So fundamentals for setting appointments, right? So these are some things that, a little bit of mindset, get in the right frame of mind, all right? Like what I learned in this business is by Sunday night, okay, if your week is not booked out, okay, sorry, I sent this notes. I was using audio notes, so Thomas just copied it. Don't worry about the grammar, all right? Just listen to what I'm saying. These notes are for me, so I make sure I hit every point, okay? By Sunday night, if your week is not booked out, you're in trouble. And so what I used to do, little history lesson, is every Sunday night I would set appointments, and I'd get my team together and we'd set appointments. I might do a little bit of a 5-minute technical training, drill for skill, but then we always set appointments in group. Okay? Because I felt your attitude had to be great when setting appointments. I was good at the skill of setting appointments, Caleb, but I never got myself to get super excited to always set appointments. I hated it. I didn't like it because I didn't like getting rejected. I didn't like having my new people rejected, but I knew it was our entire business. It's the entire thing. And so, listen to positive things before you set appointments. Get yourself, I would never even sit down. I would always stand up. I'd move around. I'd do some push-ups. I'd do something to get my blood flowing. So I felt like I had some energy. I got my heart beat up a little bit because I knew I was on stage for setting appointments. I wasn't just sitting on the couch and just calling people. No, that's not how it works. Right? So maybe read a couple pages, listen to something, move around. By Sunday night, you have to have your week booked out. Now, obviously, we have something on Saturday, but if you're trying to be for real about this and quit your job or make money or whatever your goal is, right? And remember, every single day you're going to have to get yourself into a cold swimming pool. Every single day. Right? It's not like some of the other glamour sports. I mean, you're at 8 o'clock, my daughter's got to go, and the pool is freaking cold. Right? Every single day, I got to drag her to the pool. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. That's what you got to do. And I'm thinking to myself, man, my daughter's this is a tough sport, man. You got to get in this pool and swim for freaking 45 minutes to an hour. You're going to be way ahead of the game. This isn't basketball. You can go out there and, just shoot threes and look like Steph Curry out there. It doesn't work like that, right? This is not a glamorous thing, Primerica, right? You got to be on that phone. So by Sunday night, you have to have your week booked out. This is the frame of mind I have when setting appointments. And this is why I'm talking about this, because you need to have these dialogues with your new recruit. Okay? And write this down, you should not let your new recruits set appointments, but it's inevitable that they will. Okay? Why? Because I sit down with Matt, we do orientation, we send a couple 3-way texts out. He doesn't, the person doesn't pick up, they call Matt, Matt's got to set the appointment. Okay? You must, Lola, have these conversations with people. And I'll tell you why in a second, okay? And I'll build up to that. But this is it. I'm just asking for a little bit of help. Okay? These are the conversations I'm having with my new people. I'm just asking for a little bit of help. I just need a little bit of time and just hear me out. Okay? And if they called me, I would help them. Okay, like I said, don't worry about the grammar. I was using texting stuff at 6 in the morning or whatever, making my notes, right? If they call me, I would be willing to help them. This is if I was sitting down with someone, I'm trying to talk to them. If I was talking with Amanda, I'd say, hey, look, I just want you to understand, don't make this like a huge deal. We're just asking for a little bit of their time. We just need a little help. We just want them to hear us. If they called you, would you be willing to help them? Because this is what is going through people's heads, right? What are people going to think about me? Is this Amway? Is it a scam? Are they going to make fun of me? Is this unprofessional? I've had people talk to me, right? And, look, I've had people set appointments with me about stuff, right? Friends. After I've been in Primerica, right? Say like my brother calls me, and this is how it usually goes down. He's going to call me, and he's going to be normally in the normal world, like say he's got some businesses. It could be a good business, a dorky business, whatever it is, right? He's going to call me. He's going to be extremely weak. Now, because I'm in this business, I'll be like, dude, I'll do it. Yes. What do you need? I'll do it, man. Just tell me. Ask me. It's cool. Yes. But don't ask like that. Like I would say that. I'm thinking that in my head when people have asked me for stuff. I'm like, dude, Samir, what do you need, man? Just ask me. I'll help you. It's a yes. Because I'm in this business and I ask people for favors, I'm always willing to help them. But I can tell right away how they ask. That's how our people are asking for appointments. They're not putting it in the right frame of context at all. And then you also think, look, and this is the conversation I'm having with my new people. Also, look, You might be the only person that's ever going to share this information. And I'm not trying to be dramatic here. They might have a terrible policy. You know, over time, you've seen the compound interest examples. If we save them in fees or money, it could be hundreds of thousands of dollars. If they have no protection, and God forbid they die, you could, I mean, too, would you feel good about that? And you got to have these conversations with people, because this turns them on the normal weak, a position of weakness to set appointments to a position of strength, right? And we don't want them thinking, what will they think? You know, what are they going to think about me? What are they going to say about me? What are they going to say about my company? Is this legitimate? You don't want them thinking that, right? Ask with some strength, right? If they're really, really close, okay, you're going to go a little opposite of the script, okay? If I'm close with Kelvin and his wife and say I mean, I'm talking not warm, not lukewarm, hot. How would you ask for an appointment? Would you say that? Would you say, hey, Kelvin, you got a minute? I need a favor. You wouldn't say that, right? What would you say? Kelvin, are you and Liz home tomorrow night? I'll be there at 7. Then he's going to say, yeah, we're home. Okay, I'm going to stop by. Then you run the script, right? Like I said, this is master appointment setting. This isn't, you need to be a 10 out of 10. I would reverse this. If you're really, hey, I'm gonna stop by. You guys gonna be home at 7 or 8? Hey, but Liz is there. Yeah, because I need to come by and talk to you guys. Then he's gonna say, what is it? Then you say, because you already know they're home. You know, confirm that they're home. Then you can kind of use the script, right? That's if they're really close. That's brother, sister, parents, right? People you're hot market. Lukewarm, yeah, you're gonna run a normal script. Okay. And in the beginning, like I said, I want to preface this. I didn't write this down. You set every single appointment, okay, for your training. Why do we do that? I'll call him, Donna. I'll call him. Okay. That's good, but then that's, you know, that's not how we say it, right? Because then now you've entered into a confrontational conversation with your recruit, right? And that is true, right? So you never say you don't know how to set an appointment. You can stump them, right? You can say, okay, hey, okay, cool, you got it. Let's go. Take the script away, try to set the appointment. Then Donald's going to say, you didn't get the time. I need to think about all that stuff, right? Okay. So never say you don't know how to set the appointment. Punk them first. Then you can say, see, you don't really know how to set the appointment. Okay. That's if you want to do that. Okay. I still would stump them. Okay. And that leads to my point with what I was going to say with Donald. Why do you want to set the appointment? You got to know, right? Not you don't know how to set the appointment. You can stump it, even though that's true. Why do you want to set the appointment?
Show them how to do it.
Okay.
Make sure it's solid.
You want to get some idea.
Right. Okay. So, and I heard it over there, right? I want to meet them. I want to talk to them before I meet them. I don't want to go, and the first time I see them is when after we go to their house. I'd like to talk to them and speak to them before we meet them. Right? I want to meet them before we meet them. Right? That's one. Set it firm. All those things that you can say, but that's the number one thing. I want to talk to them before we meet them. Right? But don't let your recruits, you know, don't let the tail wag the dog, right? You tell them what to do. Okay. All right. Text. Okay. A lot of people are sending text appointments. Okay. If this is kind of the language I would have for if I was going to send, or if somebody's going to talk with them, right? I need you to listen to a presentation on money, ask some questions, let me learn from it. You don't have to buy anything. That's how I would That's keeping it short, right? I realize from a lot of these, like, you should send short text, right?
Yes.
Like you can tell now with the thinking thing on the text, like she's thinking like, oh, I'm gonna get a paragraph. This should not take this long, right? You gotta take a break, take some water, stretch, be like, all right, let me go. Sophia's texting. Whoa! Scroll. Just one text. Right? You know what I'm saying, right? So, but young people, they text very short. I don't know if you noticed that. It's like yes, no, one, like literally one answer text. They don't like know how to do a sentence, but it's just like I text my niece. It's like rapid fire text, but it's just one word, 2 words, 3 words. But I was like, you could have saved some time if you don't have to be excessive like Sophia, but maybe we could conversate. That's not how they do it, right? So you got to learn how to send short text, right? Because some people they just don't talk to people. They don't call you. You cannot call them, right? So everything you do is by text. I don't prefer that. I think you should always be great at handling the phone and using the phone in our business. Okay. There's always an element where you have to be good on the phone. Okay. But I need you to listen to a presentation on money, ask some questions, let me learn from it. You don't have to buy anything. Okay. Setting appointments. Fundamentals. Always give 2 choices, right? I heard somebody the other day. It was so funny. Okay. Never ever say when is good for you.
Right.
Do you know when people ask me that, how that overloads my brain? I have to think through every single day, everything that I have going on. It is the most frustrating thing. If somebody asks me something and says, when's good for you? I mean, I'm like, this month, the summer, the fall, 2021, what? This year? No. No. That contract, the John Wall's contract needs to be over before it's good for me. You know what I mean? That's such an open-ended question. When's good for? No, what's good? Monday or Tuesday? Okay, fine. You've funneled it. Now I can think. Oh, Monday. Well, Monday I got this. Tuesday, well, 6 or what time? Immediately I start getting finite with my thinking. Never, ever, ever ask open-ended questions when you're trying to close people. It's the stupidest thing in the world. I heard somebody do it, and like the person on the phone, they were calling to speak. I was like, it's always bad. Yeah. It's always bad. It doesn't matter if you're setting interviews, orientations with your recruit. Definitely KT appointments. Always just give 2 choices. That's it. That's enough thing for them right then and there. 6 or 8, Monday or Tuesday. I don't even like saying weekends or weekdays because that even is like, oh man, it's so bad. Call you back, hang up. All right, I knew I shouldn't have picked up your call. Never say when is a good time. It's a nice thing. It's polite. It's the stupidest thing in our business. Okay, can you make sure this is a good time for Sydney? Because I need both of you there to get correct. Okay, so this is how you set the appointments phone. So we've gone through, you need to go through this mindset with people, okay, with your new recruits. Because like I said, there's nothing more important with you and your new recruits being able to set good quality appointments. So this is how we're going to elevate the importance, okay, these 3 options. Can you make sure this is a good time for Sydney? Because I need both of you there to get credit. That's 1. 2, also I need a big favor. If you need to change that time, preferably I need to know 2 days ahead of time. Okay? Why? You got to say this. This is the next step. Okay? So this is what people are. This is the script. I have to coordinate with the person who is training me, and I want to be courteous with their time. And if you call me the day of or the day before, I won't be able to schedule someone else. Okay? This is what happens when you're letting your people set appointments. So Shane meets me, team meets me, I decide I want to do this business. Hey, who do you money motivated you're good friends with? I call Kelvin. I'm so excited because Kelvin said yes. And then I cheapen the whole thing. Hey, yeah, man, hey, thanks, man. I say, hey, man, I got to talk to Liz, but I think it'll work. Hey, don't worry about it. Just let us know. Yeah. No appointments, no money, no trip, no promotion, none of it. Because I made it casual at the end and it's done. No, this is what you have to tell your new recruit, and not in a mean way, right? Kelvin said something on the Telegram. He said, look, I feel like in the beginning, if I'm too strong on them, right, they're going to quit. That is true. Okay, I agree with that. There is an element where if you are too strong, they're going to quit. But there are times where you have to show your strength. And setting appointments, we know if we don't get good at this, they don't get out in the field, we don't set them with good quality people, we have to start chasing people and exhaust people, they're going to quit. You're going to get frustrated. They're going to get frustrated. They're going to quit. So if you feel you have to be strong, just let them know. Say, hey, look, I don't want to be ambiguous at all here, but I just know what I know. This is really important. Because this is not just, yes, we're asking as a favor, but look, to actually do this appointment, you got to understand the thinking behind this, Kelvin. Yes. I'm going to be training you. I do respect my time. We need to get your training done immediately. And if we're not out in the field with them, and they schedule the day of, that jeopardizes your bonus, all these things that happen. And we're not going to get off to a fast start, which is going to really stifle your growth here. And here's the truth too, okay? Right? And I know some people aren't here, all right? So I don't want to, don't take this personal, but this is just the truth. I'm speaking for every trainer in here. If I'm sitting down and I train Baj and Baj just completely takes a dump on my schedule, it's disrespectful. Like, yeah, I'm going to be nice and polite because I override and I'm in the business and I'm encouraging, but no, man, you think I'm like super motivated to go out with him if he's like, oh, no, no, because like, you don't care about my schedule. Why would I care about you? It's just normal. Oh no, well, they said this, and this is why I'm saying this. I got a bunch of calls this weekend we had 15 appointments set this weekend. We only went on, what would I tell you? Like 3, right?
Yeah.
The whole team. I was like, oh, this is a problem. And I checked on every single one and it was like, oh, I said it on Saturday. It was Saturday night. And I think one of you guys, right? You said it, or maybe it was, I don't remember. Sure. Somebody said it was a birthday party. I was like, they didn't know there was a birthday party for the kid on Saturday, right? Was that you? Who was that? Was that you? Yeah, somebody, right? But and it wasn't whoever's fault it was, right? It was the trainee saying the appointment. Oh no, it's not a big deal because they got them to say yes, but there was no actual intention of actually doing it.
Right.
Yeah, none. Of the client was like, yeah, I'll say yes to you. Get off the phone, hang up. Right? So I have to coordinate with the person who is training me. This is not something you say. It's not manipulative. No, it's true. If I plan to go out on Thursday, that's like the monthly plan for me. Right? I'm not flexible. Like I got to rearrange a lot of chess pieces to go on appointments.
Right.
Got to make a lot of people happy. So if I'm going out and we're driving far and I get all doctored up to go, we're going to work.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be driving 15, 20 minutes and they call and say, oh, reschedule. No, that throws me for a loop, man. Right? Right or wrong?
Yeah.
So I have to coordinate with the person who is training me, and I want to be courteous with their time. And if you call me the day of or the day before, I won't be able to schedule someone else. And I'm not saying, hey, Kelvin, this is just what you say to the client. Okay, no. I'm telling them, like, look, man, my time is valuable. I respect my time. I want you to respect my time. I also want them to respect yours and my time. And then that makes the process go. We're not going to be jerks about it. They can reschedule. Just they got to call us a little bit ahead. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Right? I'm not saying, hey, this is just what you say. No. This is the truth. This is the truth. Right? I'm working with you. I'm training you. Right? I love it. People, hey, man, I rescheduled, but I got another appointment on my own. This person flaked on me. That shows that, hey, you respect me. You respect my time. Never make this casual. Just let me know if this works and it doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. No big deal. Worst thing you could ever say. Never have that mentality. You kill that mentality with the recruit. They ever have that. No, it's no big deal if it doesn't work out. We can reschedule something. Yeah, we'll go see you. No. Right? Can you be flexible in case we're running late or early? So if you look at the 3 things, right? Can you make sure this is a good time for your spouse? Because I need both of you to be there to be credit. That's 1. Rescheduling, that's 2. Right? Also, I need a big favor. If you need to change that time, preferably, I need to know 2 days ahead of time. I don't even say a day anymore. I say 2. right? Because they always, a day means they can call you the day of. So now it's like 2. And then you got to say this because I have to coordinate. Why? You're not just trying to say, hey, look, because I got to coordinate. Someone's training me and I want to be courteous of their time. When you call me the day of or even the day before, it was not going to allow me to schedule somebody else in that time. And I really need to get this training done quickly. Can you be flexible in case we're running late or early, right? 25% of people are extremely punctual. They are just like this. If you're late 1 minute, it bothers them, right? And here's the thing. Let me tell you something. Okay? If you're in Primerica and you're field training people and running multiple appointments, you're gonna be late. Always. You could say, hey man, this is a single mom, this is gonna be the shortest appointment, it's gonna go long. It's gonna go long. They have a lot of questions, they're gonna say something. Kid comes, you're closing. You literally the routing number out, kid comes out, throws up on the tablet. It takes you another 35 minutes. And you can't leave because you gotta close business. Okay? So at first I was like, oh, you should always be on time. No, you don't understand our business. You don't get it. This is a battlefield that we're driving around. Like there's tolls, there's traffic, there's accidents, there's hit and runs, right? There are children, there's sick children, there's fighting, there's routing number, there's a client that literally wants the stuff and they got to dig online and they got locked out of their passcode to get their accounting number. Oh, go get it. Go get it. Yeah, you're trying to be hey, what's your pet's first name? And you're trying to go through it with them. Oh, do you remember this? What kind of dog was it? Oh, yes, we had a tarantula. That's what it was. I've done it all. You're never going to be on time. So always ask them, can you be flexible in case we're early or late? Right? You could go in the house and they're taking shots. They're just doing it like, oh, yeah, I'm out. See you. Hey, Jen, you got it. This is your kind of party. This is your perfect appointment. Go ahead, join it. I'm out. I'm going to my next appointment. Right? Right? Didn't you say that? Saturday night, they call Calvin. Hey, man, I'm not in the right frame of mind. What'd you think, man? What'd you think? Right? Yeah. It was a date. It was a guy, single dad. It was a date. That's what he wants. Why you want to He was setting the mood, man. Calvin, that was a date. You should have done it too.
Oh my God.
That's another training. Field training people running multiple points, impossible. It's impossible. Okay. I mean, definitely not going to be on time. You can be reasonably on time. Okay, but it just doesn't work like that. Okay? I see this all the time. All right, so then you have the standard American response. Okay, and let me go through a little bit more of the psychology so you understand this. It's very, very important. We always have responses that we always say. Okay, it's very normal when setting appointments to always say certain things. It's just part of our DNA now. Let me check with my wife. Oh, I need to think about it, right? But that's the biggest one. You call somebody, a married couple or a partnership is always a unified front. You attack one weak link. So I got Peter, and Peter says yes because he wants to help me. And then he's thinking, oh, shoot, I got to tell my wife. And so then you say, oh, man, hey, yeah, but I'm good. Let me confirm with my wife, and then I'll call you back. And you take him at his word, which is really, Peter, you guys are friends, co-workers, kids are friends, whatever it is. You take him at his word, so you say, hey, man, okay, call me back. No, it's good. We got the appointment. Okay? And Peter, and I'll speak from the guys, okay, because you know me, the minute he hangs up, he forgot that you even called or what the hell you were talking about. Okay? Some people say, hey, Shaq, what do you think? I hung up, I deleted you from my life and that conversation. I don't remember what you're talking about. Okay? Do you remember? I don't remember. What? You said that? No. I said that? Really? Was I awake? Yes, we were there. It was 5 minutes ago. No, I forgot. Sorry. So then I call Peter to remind him that, hey, did you talk to Tia? And he's like, I need something. What was it? That's it. He doesn't even pick up because he forgot. Not that he was being mean. This is what people do. Okay, he's not being mean-spirited. He just doesn't want to have to talk to his wife. He forgot. What did he say? Ah. Don't pick up. It was money, something I'm gonna sell. I'm done. I'm not gonna talk. And then you have to chase. That's done. He lost it, right? So for us, we work the courage up. We ask for the appointment. That was the most important call in the world for us. You made it. For them, they forget it the second they hang up. It's just another call, right? So even though it was important for you and it was monumental for you, it means nothing to them, right? So you just have to remember that, right? So for them, it was just a phone call. Two things you have to invest: emotional energy and time. They're finite on both. Okay, so that's why you have to lock down the appointment, right? So when I set appointments, right? This is another tip. Okay. Peter says to me, Shaq, I need to talk to my wife. Can I get back to you? Great, no problem. Oh, but you know what? I have my calendar right in front of me. While I have you on the phone, can I pencil you in? You see that pause that I took? It's awkwardly long, right? Hopkins calls those the what?
Plan pause.
The planned pause, right? It's not, hey, great, no problem. Can I pencil you in? No. That is forced. That doesn't work. Okay? Great, no problem. Actually, I have my calendar right in front of me. Did we tentatively set something? Can I pencil you in? And then if it doesn't work, just give me a call back. Definitely check with her, right? See, this is how you become a tenant setting appointments. Right? You don't just jump down their throat. It doesn't work like that. Then, see, that pause, it puts them to sleep. Oh, yeah, that's not a big deal. No. Yeah, sure. It's not forced. It's authentic. You already know that they're going to say that. Always remember, you know they're going to say, let me check with my wife. Let me check with my husband and call you back. Great, no problem. But I'm actually looking at my calendar right now. While I have you on the phone, can I just tentatively put you in? What days usually work, Wednesday or Thursday? 6 or 8. When are you? And definitely confirm this with Tia, because I need her to be there. It's very important. Okay? Worst case scenario, okay? I didn't even want to put this up. But I'll put it up. Worst case scenario, if Peter just has no spine, right? I got to talk to her, man. She found out that I gave an agreement without talking to her. She might hit me. Okay? But worst case scenario, you say, okay, hey, can you let me know today or tomorrow? I'm going to call you later tonight. Right? Because if he says he's going to let me know today or tomorrow, is it bad to follow up? No. Right? But look, I didn't even want to put this up there. Okay? This should never get there. It should get there one out of 10. 1 out of 20. Okay? Get the appointment tentatively. And then you replay. All right. Any questions about what we've covered? Anything? Look, we need, I know I'm speaking obviously to my base, but definitely the full-timers and everybody else. We need to really make this adjustment quickly on setting appointments, right? Because if you're full-time here, and you want to be full-time, and you want to quit your job, and you want to turn this into a ATM machine where you can take money out of Primerica whenever you want, you need to be going on 5 new appointments a week. Okay? You can go on 5 new appointments a week. That's approximately 20 a month, which means even if the numbers, you can close 10 a month. If you close 10 a month, man, you're feeling great. You're training people. You're making money. You're having fun. You're connected to the business. You're out there, okay? So, Shondell, if you can help me incorporate maybe some of these checklists of having these conversations with new recruits when we set the appointments, we'll get that out to you. Right? Elevating the importance, which is confirming the spouse, rescheduling policy 2 days before, asking to be flexible with the time. And then I know we already have the standard American response in there. But understand the psychology of setting appointments. Our business, that is the most important skill you'll have to learn. So I know Dante and Samir, they had a client that I wanted to give a client example that they did this week. It was what 500,000 of investments, and they really went through some awesome things to get this client. So I wanted Samir to. Dante's actually getting it right now, right? God willing. He got it, but I'm saying he had to go get the check. Or what was it? Yeah. So I wanted him to kind of go through that. Obviously, big tickets. Look, if you're a securities licensed person, you should be doing at least $1 million a year personal investments. At least $1 million a year personal investments. But you should try to get one big ticket a month, which is at least 100,000. Okay, like one trade, you should at least get 100,000. So let's give it up. $500,000 ticket. Samir Qureshi.
All right, guys. Remind me to do your question as well. But do I have to leave this here? This is where you want it?
Yep.
Is that what they see? All right. Okay. So Dante asked me to go on an appointment with him. It's good just to kind of watch your trainer sometimes. And obviously Dante is a very competent RVP, and he helped me even with this presentation. But he took me along. He got a referral from a networking group. Pretty amazing, right? That's a great referral. And he said there's a client who her husband passed away, and she came across a good amount of money, and I was referred to her to sit down and give her some advice. Okay. So the very first appointment, we go and we sit down with the client, and it's a little intimidating. You know the person has actually $1 million, and when we met with her, there was somebody else with her, and she said, "Yeah, this is one of my best friends, and he's my CPA." Okay, so now you got to win over two people, right? Very conservative, a little bit elderly client, tough demographic, living in a wealthy area in Maryland, and then you have her very sharp, very smart CPA there as well that's kind of vetting everything out. So we sat down with her. The main thing is this guy's going to be on high alert, right? He's been in sales. He has a client base. Now he's retired. He's done very well in his life. I can't ask commitment questions. I can't, get yes momentum and stuff like that. You have to know when to do that and when you're not supposed to do that, right? So really what wins people over is just asking questions and making them feel like you can help them accomplish their goals. And really you have to sell without selling. That's what I've learned when sitting down with it. And that's what this guy's doing, right? He wants to protect his friend. She just lost her husband. She's very conservative. Now he's very aggressive, right? So that was a good thing, is that he wasn't that conservative, but he knew that she couldn't handle getting into something too aggressive. So these are the things he's picking up on, right? One of the questions I asked, I said, and I said, I'll really ask you because you're the one that's advising her. I said, I just want to know how you feel about annuities. He's like, not a fan, right? I said, look, I'm not really either, but there are a few on the market. And he just wasn't giving me good feedback. That's the end of the conversation, right? I'm not going to go down a lane that is going, I'm not going to, get into a losing battle. If he's a sharp guy, he's well read, he's been around for a long time. If he doesn't like it, he doesn't like it. That's okay. I want to win, right? I want to do a transaction. So I think I can find something good for her outside of that. So her situation is, her husband, after he passed away suddenly, She gets $12,000 a month in pension and Social Security, and then she has $1 million cash. So she doesn't really need the cash, except she said the story was my 3 children who are all above 40 are basically now living off, right? So of the 12,
Wow.
my monthly bills between the 2 properties, paying all their bills, some of their wives, kids, everything, I'm spending 14, which means there's about 2,000 a month coming out of this account here. Okay. Now, whatever, that's her family situation. She's trying to work it out. He's trying to help her with that. Whatever happens with that, but that's none of my business. I wasn't going to do anything with that anyways. But we do have about $1 million. Okay. So the 2 main accounts that I am working with, okay, what she said to me was she has $350,000 in a money market. Okay, and then she has $600,000 in her husband's TSP because he passed away and that was his retirement account. Okay, so I did some research and I asked her, I said, what is the allocation in your TSP? She didn't know how to log in or anything, but she has a big binder, old school, and she had a statement, and she is in something called the L income. Okay? Now, Josh, what do you think that L stands for?
That's what I was gonna say. Time. Length.
Yeah.
Of time.
Length income? Yeah.
No.
It's life cycle, right? So this happens in, you can find these in 401ks, and really life cycle is target date. Okay, so as you approach a certain date, and I talked about this last time, what a target date fund is. Well, TSP's most conservative life cycle fund, it's a self-allocating thing, right, is called the life cycle income allocation. So if you can bring up some of these attachments, I'll show you which one to open. This is what I found out when I went and did my own research. So the L income fund, right? If you look here at the allocation, I'm just going to tell you exactly what I presented to her. It's 74% G fund, 6% F fund, then you have 12% in C, 3% in S, 5% in I. Okay? So let's bring up the TSP annual return. Okay, so I showed this to her. I said, not sure if you know how this works, but the only stock funds you have in TSP are going to be the I fund, the S fund, and the C fund. You have 74% in the G and you have 6% in the F, which means she has 80% that, as an investor, we say that's on the sidelines. Okay, it's on the sidelines because it's not invested in equities. Now, if we look at how that 80% has been performing, 2.9, 2.3, 1.8, 2.0, 2.3, 1.8, and then you have the F over here, 0.15, 3.82, 2.9. So what do we recognize about these returns, like where they are? What do you think, what would you say about this? Who's someone that is securities lessons? What would you say? It's not really, see, whenever you're close to that 3% number, then you can make that comparison. The whole point of investing is you want to outpace inflation. You don't want your money to lose purchasing power, right? Because things are getting more expensive. Your money has to grow at a higher rate than things going up in cost. So what I told her, I said, 80% of your money is in bonds, right? And they're not even keeping pace with inflation. So I got this right off tsp.gov. So if 80% of the bigger account is not invested in equities and only 20% is, and then the other 350,000 is in a money market, if you can bring up that pie chart. So I had Dante make this. I said, this is how your money is totally allocated right now. All right. You have 350 in the money market. You have TSP bonds because it's 80% of that amount. So as a percentage of her entire portfolio, only 12% is invested.
You guys with me? Because the 20% that's in here, but that's 20% of this. When you say 20% of the whole million, it only came out to 12%. So that was very eye-opening for her. All she saw was what? Her statement. And her statement never went down, right? And then because the market has been going up, especially since her husband passed away, which was 6-7 months ago, she's just seen it go up, right? But when we look at the whole thing, and the guy really appreciated that too. He goes, I told her you have to, grow your appetite for risk just a little bit. Your risk tolerance has to grow just a little bit. So I said, I mean, we're only at 12%. The rest of your money it's not growing. It's not outpacing inflation. So I said, I don't want to make a dramatic shift, but I do think that we do have to move the needle just a little bit. Okay. Now, the first time that I went and sat down with her, we met twice. So the first time I sat down with her, she made this remark. She goes, "It's not going to be everything, is it?" Okay. Now, for most clients that, depending on how I read them, I do not do partial investments. I don't do the whole, let's try and see how it goes. That's the dumbest thing in the world when it comes to investments. If the market happens to do well, then what I did well. If it does bad, then I did bad. Like that, it doesn't mean anything, right? Either you're going to listen to what I'm saying, you're going to take my prescription, you're going to take my advice, or I don't want it. In this case, just because of the way we were introduced, it's not warm market where I'm training her son and there's going to be some accountability for the next 10 years or something like that. Just the manner in which we met, as fearful as she was, the fact that this was her husband's money, right away that told me, if I come back with a hypothetical to get the whole thing, I'm not going to get it. It's too big of a shift. Okay? So I told Dante, we're going to strategize to get 200 from here and 300 from here. Okay? So we'll go for 5. We'll have a very good strategy that's way better than what she's doing right now, and it's only half. Okay? Now, who knows? We could get the whole thing later on, but that's what I was going for. So let's see what other attachments are here. The first step is really just talking about American funds. I said, now you know where you are. Now you know where you are. Only 10% of your money is invested, and even the part that's invested, it's invested in index funds. They're very high risk. They're not even that high quality. So what I did was I talked a little bit about American funds. That attachment isn't here, but I talked about what makes American funds different. Okay, the number one thing that differentiates American funds from all the times I've presented it, and you can do this from the ICA guide, but the what makes American funds different brochure has this too. And I saw Sophia do this once, and now I do it all the time. Is it shows that you can get, it's the multiple portfolio counselor system. The multiple manager system is the easiest way to justify why American funds is better. Because you can say they're the biggest and they've been around the longest and they have the best returns and their fees are the lowest. All that is great, but it's not necessarily educating them on or helping them understand why it's better. American funds is better because of their management system. They have more than one person that's watching your mutual fund. They have more than one person. They have 5, 6, 7, 8 people that have equal responsibility in every mutual fund that you invest in. And those 5, 6 people each manage their own portfolio, Rod, of 30, 40 companies versus having to manage 200 companies in one portfolio. Does that make sense? And so, and I explained that. I didn't put the brochure up here. Okay, so I apologize for that. So I said, this is my first recommendation. Let's go to the balance fund. You guys have been hearing me talk about this. My recommendation is, Mrs. So-and-so, that we can take $200,000 out of the money market and we can put it into the balance fund. Now, Mrs. Client, let me read to you what it says, and I read right off. I said, this is a diversified portfolio of quality stocks and bonds. The strategy invests between 50 and 75% in equities. So I said, when they anticipate that things are not going well, they're going to take you down to 50, the minimum equity exposure, which is 50%. When they feel that things are going to go well, they're going to ramp it up to 75%. But it's not going to be 100% stocks. Within this fund, that $200,000 is going to go back and forth from stocks, bonds, and cash, depending on what they anticipate is going to happen in the market. flexible exposure to growth-oriented and dividend-paying stocks. The fixed income portion only invests in investment-grade bonds, providing diversification from equities. Okay, so you can see here. This is currently right now. There's 54% in U.S. equities, 7% in non. So it's about, what is that? 60% right now in stocks. So I said, we're not taking the 200 and taking it all and putting it in stocks, right? And mutual funds and equities. Even the current allocation right now is only half, right? Only half the money is going to be. Just to make her feel better. I'm not just taking it and being super aggressive with it. Let's see what else is done. Let's go down. Let's go to objective. I read this to her too. The investment objective of the funds are conservation of capital. You want that too, right, Mrs. Clark? Right? You want to conserve your capital. Also, we might need to withdraw because you have a $2,000 deficit because you're supporting all your family. So we're going to conserve current income and long-term growth of capital and income as well. And that's what you're not getting right now. So it's helping you do what you're doing right now. You want to conserve the money, you want to protect your current income, but also we want long-term growth of capital income. That's not going to happen the way you're investing right now. Right? So that's my recommendation for the money market money. I also showed her the performance over the last 50 years that the fund has been around. It's only gone down 5 times. So we looked at that as well. Obviously, it's a very conservative fund. We looked at, let me show the hypo, please. Yes, or no? Shoot, I may not. Okay. Well, what we did was we showed her a hypo that showed Dante talking is every 15-year period in the history of the balance fund, and the worst it ever did in any 15-year period was 7%. So pretty amazing for a very conservative fund. Next, I said, look, in your TSP, in your husband's TSP, it's 80% bonds, 20% stocks, and even the 20% stocks that you have, it's just randomly invested in 3 different index funds, which is C, S, and I. Okay? I said, look at this right here. American Funds 2020 Target Date Fund. This is a portfolio that has, look how many funds in it. Okay? Now I said, Mrs. Klein, 2020 means they're assuming that you are a retiree right now. So it's super conservative, just like the way that you are invested right now. But look at all the different funds and how spread out you are and how much diversification you have. Instead of just being invested in 3 index funds, you're participating in 20 different funds. And these are the best funds in the world. American Funds last year was rated #1 by Barron's, right? Financial Journal. So think about your TSP. It's a static, frozen portfolio of 80% bonds and 20% in these 3 funds. Or you can have all of these funds available to you, and there's a board, I talked about this last time, a board of 7 people that are meeting quarterly to change your allocation. Which one do you feel more comfortable having, right? You can have that money in something that's just kind of sitting, or you can have 7 human beings that are thinking about you and your situation and how you might have a potential medical emergency, how you might need to withdraw cash, all the different concerns that someone your age and your financial situation is in, they're going to be looking after you. It's completely actively managed, and you're not even paying for that, right? It doesn't add anything to the expense ratio. So long story short, I had to show her the sales charges, and this is good, right? It can be tough, sometimes go down to 500. It can be tough sometimes for people to swallow. Like if I invest 500, 2% is $10,000. That 10 grand is a fee. But it also helps you sometimes because they know they have to pay more if they do less. So I said the reason I'm asking for 200 from this and 300 from that, and you can leave the rest as is because we want to hit this break point so we can maximize the fee, right? And they couldn't argue with that. right? Maybe she just wanted to do 300. Maybe she just wanted to do 350, but she knew that if she could get to 500, the fee would be lower. So it's almost like you're buying that discount, right? So, I mean, I did it as fast as I just did with you guys. The first appointment was maybe an hour. The second appointment, the speaking part of it was maybe half an hour, maybe even less. Then after that, I was just talking about general things. And the main thing was we were able to win over the, her CPA. He really liked American funds. He liked that hard selling. He liked that I went very conservative. He liked all the recommendations. He liked the presentation. He liked the service. And, he said, I think we need to go ahead and do this right now. So he asked, what are the next steps? And so, she is writing a check from her money market. She had to make a transfer. And today she's giving Dante the notarized copy to get the money out of the TSP. So, yeah, 500,000, man, in 2 hours. That's all this stuff, everything I've trained you guys on, this is exactly what I'm using. I'm not taking anything extra. I'm not doing anything different. All the stuff we talked about, the ICA guides, the hypos, the rolling periods, the fees, overcoming index funds, overcoming TSP, selling how American funds works. This is all I did. And this guy that, when he goes, when I was a CPA, my clients were, usually they were $5 million minimum clients. So you can imagine what he probably has himself. He's retired in his, early 60s, doing very well. But, real quick, I wanted to. Josh was asking me to do a training, or a sit down with him, but I thought everybody about it. So let's shift gears a little bit. So he's saying someone is a firefighter, and they are retiring in a couple months, and they are getting a pension. So what is a pension? A pension, the most common kind, is a defined benefit plan. What does defined benefit mean? It's a specific amount that you get. Very rarely now do people get pensions from corporations. Usually you will get it from the government. Okay? If you sit down with someone who's been with a company for 20, 30 years, maybe they're grandfathered into a certain type of pension. So pensions, in a sense, they can be awesome because you can't mismanage your money when you're getting it in pieces. That's why we try to give people, when someone passes away, we want to take that lump sum and we want to pay them monthly so they don't mismanage the money, right? So that's what the government does. If you're a firefighter, then you are county government, state government, whatever, right? So in this case here, let's say someone works for 25 years, okay? And maybe as a firefighter, they get 50% of their income for life. I'm making this up, okay? I would have to look up the benefits. So as a firefighter, they actually paid pretty well. Let's say that he was, the chief, he's making 120. I think they make even more than that. Let's say his pension is going to be $60,000 for life, which is pretty cool. You're getting $5,000 a month, right? Now, where the pension didn't just come from you accumulating years with that organization, where else did the pension money come from? Where do you think, Vaj? Huh? Where?
Your retirement account.
Not really. Where do you think it came from? Where did the funding come from?
Oh, the employee.
The employee, right? When you look at the pay stub, 2 to 3% of their pay for the duration has been funding this. Now, you can potentially get a lot more if you live long, but if you live short. So the thing is that it's not free money. A lot of people have this misconception that the pension money is just free. At the government, you're giving them 3%. At the county, you're giving a couple percent. It is not free money. You are paying into the pension. So now the pension that I'm getting is $5,000 a month. And there's an element of that where usually they give you a survivor benefit. So who would be the survivor? Most commonly, it's your spouse. The survivor benefit on a pension is typically about 50% of that. Okay? So you're getting $5K a month. If you die, your wife will get $2,500 a month. Now it goes until for the rest of your life. So it's pretty cool, right? You meet people on military pensions and maybe they had a little something happen, they're getting some disability. It's like they are going to get a check for the rest of their life. There's a comfort there with a pension that is, it's unmatched, the level of security that people have. Because no matter what happens, you could screw up every month, that check is coming again next month. It can never run out. So you do have to understand that the pension, this is what people work for all their life. So you can't totally bash the pension, but you do have to understand the downsides of the pension, okay? A lot of pensions, they do not, it'll just be the same number forever. The federal government's, every few years, they do give a cost of living increase where they increase it by a couple %, but it's not anything significant. So over time, if you really do live for 20, 30 years past getting your original pension, the amount that you're getting now is not going to be the same lifestyle as 20 years from now. So the pension isn't really going to grow at a high rate, okay? But the biggest problem with the pension is the survivorship aspect, okay? So let's write these points down. Number one, the pension is growth of the pension is in question. Growth of the pension amount. Survivorship is an issue, okay? And I'll talk about that. And also the amount. The calculation of the amount. I'm saying this to myself so I don't forget. Okay. So if I get the pension of $5,000 and I elect to pay a fee, it's a pretty hefty fee, to protect my wife, when I die, she gets $2,500. Now here's the scenario, Mr. Firefighter. You funded this pension and worked for the government for worked for the firehouse for 20 years, 25 years. Let me give you a scenario. What happens if you pass away in 5 years, then it starts going to your wife, she passes away the next year after you only receive the pension for 6 years. Where does it go after your wife? It's gone. So the problem with the pension is it's going to end when your life or your wife's life, if those both go, right, it ends with that. Now, what if someone paid hundreds of thousands of dollars, but they didn't actually recoup that because they didn't live long enough? That's where you lose with the pension. Okay? The other thing is, now federal doesn't do this, but state and local government, some of them have two options for the pension. There is the lump sum or the annuity. Okay? So you have these two options. So when he retires, they're going to ask him, okay, we are calculating your pension at about $500,000. Okay? $500,000. You can take the 500 and walk and do whatever you want with it, or, and I'm changing the numbers from what I said before, right? Or from this 500, we will give you $1,200 a month. This is usually how it works. So you can take the lump sum, or we will give you $1,200 a month for life. Now, what I learned to do was calculate, well, what percent of $1,200 a month, okay, what percent is that of this? Because that's called a yield. What are they giving me? What amount are they giving me off of this pension? Well, 12 times 12 is 144, right? So add the 2 zeros. I'm getting 14,400 off of my 500,000. What's 14,400 divided by 500,000? You guys look very bored, but you guys should make a lot of money. Let me just make sure. Huh?
No, it's like
Huh?
2.8.
Jen said 10. He said 0.001.
2.8. 2.8.
And it's
That's 2.8, right? So what am I doing? I'm seeing what are they giving? Because all the government is doing is they're annuitizing the money for you. So they're saying, hey, we're calculating your lump sum at 500, or we'll give you 1,200 a month for life. Well, 1,200 a month for life is 14,400, which means they're giving me a yield off my 500,000 of only 2.8%. Okay? Well, here's the thing. If I take it, T, and I go put it in a Bright House product, what percent will they give me every year for life? 5%. So if you take the lump sum option, there's a huge risk in it. But if you take the lump sum option and you put it into a variable annuity, a private company will give you 5% for life, which is $25,000 per year, which is $2,000 a month versus your $1,200 a month. It's a higher yield in the private sector off the lump sum than what the government is guaranteeing. And as the 500,000 grows, that 2,000 can actually go up. And if you die, your wife will get no reduction. She'll get the same 2,000. And if she dies, anything that's left goes to your family. It's not even a comparison. So let's go over this again. If I leave it with the government, it's a steady paycheck for life. It's not going to grow much. My survivor will get about a 50% reduction on her payment, and then it ends with her. Or I can take that amount of money, I can put it into a variable annuity, right, with an A-rated company, and it's insured. I'll get more, and it'll grow. My wife will get the same, and that will grow. And then when she dies, if there's anything left, my kids get it. There's absolutely no comparison. But what do people think? Oh, but it's secure with the government. Okay. So be underpaid, risk all your hard work, all your hard savings, all your hard earnings, everything, and because you get that sense of security. This lady too, she was like, because the CPA was like, I think she feels a sense of security because it's with the government and she feels like it's insured. I said, no, it's actually managed by BlackRock, which is just a financial company. And the insurance, the life insurance is from, New York Life. And when they annuitize it, that's from MetLife Bright House, right? It's all financial companies. The government is not doing anything, right? And it's the same thing with the county. There's some financial institution that they've contracted with that is managing all these things. So you stay with them, you're underpaid, all your money's at risk, but if you take that amount, if they give you a lump sum option, federal doesn't, right? But if you take the lump sum option, from the county, I know some counties do it, and you put an annuity, you're going to get more money, it's going to grow, and it's going to last, and it's going to have some ownership. Yeah.
So there are situations where counties do not give the lump sum option?
There must be. I'm sure there's some that do and some that don't. But what county do they live in? Are they in Maryland or Virginia?
Georgia.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Quick Google, right? Pension options from Prince George's County.
military gets an option.
I don't think so. No. Yeah?
No, they don't.
No, they don't. It's just a payout.
Some federal agencies allow for partial,
From what I've understood about federal is that if you leave, okay, and you tell them, I'm never coming back, there is a portion that you contributed to the pension that they will give back to you. Something, yeah. But if you actually are in retirement or about to retire, I haven't heard people being able to access that.
Okay. So this is just going back to this. My only question for this is, did you get any pushback when you discussed the fee schedule or with the state at all?
Yeah, I did. She, he said, well, we were given this referral on the premise that, you guys told the mortgage officer that referred that you don't charge any fees. And I had already told her that there's no such thing as free advice and free service. It's going to be somewhere. So this is it. He's like, I'm not saying anything, but this is what it is. And I said, well, it's through American funds. We're not charging it. And he goes, but you get some of it, right? I said, yeah, I do get some of it. But there's two ways that I can do this. I can charge you. Every other advisor, what they're going to do is maybe they don't charge up front. Okay? So this is what we want to see happen to your account, right? What they do is they say, hey, all your $500,000 is going to be invested, but over the next 20 years, we will charge you 1% a year. Well, that's 1% when it's down here, 1% when it's up here, when it's up here, when it's up here. It's 1% on a growing balance, which is a ton of money. Wouldn't it make sense just to pay once up front when the balance is assumptively the smallest amount, right? And then, and I said, ethically, morally, statistically, however you want to look at it, this is the way to pay the lowest fee. It's the best fee structure for a long-time investor, just bottom line. And he said, well, isn't there other ones where you can get in, and as long as you stay in for a certain amount of time, right, then you didn't pay anything up front? I said, yes, you're describing a C share. In a C share, you don't pay anything when you get in, and if you keep it for over 3, 4, 5 years, there's nothing on the back end. He's like, so then you got away from the fee. Why can't we do that? Well, what's the difference with a C share, Matt? It's a higher expense ratio. So I said, all they're doing is they're back-ending that fee by raising the annual expenses. So I know how to talk about this stuff. That's what I said, but you have to be very confident. A share is the best way for someone to, think about like a mortgage, right? Some people make a bigger down payment so they can buy down their interest rate. Because if I'm going to hold the house for 30 years, I want to pay lower interest every year, so they put more money up front. I said, it's just like a mortgage. You're just paying up front to buy down the expense ratio. Over time, it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah. How was the meeting when somebody brings that type of person? Are you basically talking to him and including her, or are you trying to simplify for her and then having another conversation with him?
That was actually an interesting dynamic. There were certain things where I was just talking to him. There were certain things I was just talking to her. There were certain times I was talking to both of them. I just knew there were certain topics that were going over her head, so I was kind of talking to him, and then he would kind of translate it to her. Obviously, she speaks English, but I'm saying because he knows her, kind of simplifying it for her. But I was showing him look, I'm trying to win you over, and almost kind of giving him that, hey, I know you already know this, so I'm telling you this, right? Maybe this isn't relevant to her, but I'm telling you this because I know you know investments. This is why I thought of this. And he kind of appreciated that. Yeah, but it could have gone very wrong too, right? If he was negative, if he was unqualified, if he was unsupported, if he didn't want to be there, But it just we got very lucky in that sense. Anything else? Started training tomorrow. We'll be calling people to prepare for the training, so expect that phone call if you're one of the leaders, and prepare well for it. Anything else? All right, team 1, 3, 1, 2.
Go get a plate and come back.
You wow. Hey, I recorded it. That's what I was like.
For real?
Excuse me, sir.
The reason why.
For me.
What do we know about
Right now? Oh, so it's better to go private. Oh,
Because it's more like a mix.
right. Okay. Thank you.
Have you ever done audio?
I'm sorry.
Calladita.